Greetings all! For those of you who may have missed it, there is a bit of a kerfluffle going on in the tank YouTube world over the Russian T-14 tank. It's an interesting and topical vehicle, so it gets attention. Well, that's fine. What seems to have happened is that there's a bit of a three-way he said, she said going on between Laserpig, Cone of Arc, Red Effect, and a little side input from the Tank Museum over the nature of the tank, and particularly its engine, with videos getting response videos and reply videos and counter-arguing videos. And of course, a bunch of you fine folks have asked me to weigh in, either on the tank itself or the whole argument going on between the channels, and particularly the followers of the channels. Now, I'm not sure how this helps me to stick my oar in, but okay, since I have a policy, generally speaking, of responding to large numbers of Patreon supporters who ask me a question, fine. Here's my 2 cents. I'm going to be arrogant and scold a bunch of you, and then delve into a little bit of historical philosophy, because I might as well get something useful out of this video. To start with, I'm certainly not going to say X person is correct on the provenance of T-14's engine, almost as if I'm some appointed arbiter of tank knowledge. Well, at least on this subject. The primary reason for this is that I haven't done any research on the matter, mainly because after a bunch of other people, such as Laserpig, Cone, Tank Museum, and so on, have done research and concluded we don't actually know how the engine was developed, it seems a waste of time for me to do the same thing, and there are plenty of other things I can do research on that I know can be determined to make my own videos on different topics. Which means that this whole argument and people spamming various channels for comments is founded on nothing more than disagreements on speculation. Person A speculates this, person B speculates that. And as far as I know, every YouTuber involved is openly admitting that they are speculating off whatever data they can glean. That said, I'm inclined to speculate, for the record, that I think it's a bit of a stretch, given the publicly available data, to claim that one engine is any more related to another of a general similar design concept, given different slant angles, piston sizes and the like, than it is to claim that a Type 212 submarine is related to a Type 21 U-boat. Now, it's impossible to prove a negative in most cases, but I have seen nothing, after asking around a bit, to indicate that the T-14's engine is a derivative of a German World War II engine beyond the most tenuous conceptual links. Now, how good are those conceptual links as a link? I'll come back to that in a bit with some examples. Speculation is fine. It's a fun diversion. I do it myself on occasion. I just did 20 seconds ago. But that's all it is. It's not something you want to get in a huff about and say, I'm leaving your channel because you disagree with this other guy. It just befuddles me. Frankly, a bunch of you need to take a chill pill. Nobody's going to come back in 10 years' time saying, yeah, you were wrong. But here's the thing. Those of us who run channels are not supposed to be cult leaders. There's no Clan of the Cone or Legion of Laserpig. Although, now I've said it, I'm sure some nutter is going to take the idea and run with it. You are free to watch the one, or the other, or both, or neither, and let other people make their own decisions. If you like the pig's line of reasoning from the sources he has provided better than Cone's submission or Red Effect's video, good for you. If you think Laserpig's off target and prefer Red Effect's interpretation of things, hooray! I'm sure this will affect my life somehow. But don't say Laserpig is right just because you're a fan of his channel and delivery style. Or that Cone is right just because you're a fan of his accent and think his avatar is cute. Conversely, disliking the delivery style or avatar doesn't make an argument any less deserving of an assessment. At least make sure you have evaluated the chain of conclusion presented and the line of logical reasoning. In all cases, please don't mistake exaggeration for effect as gospel truth. And if other YouTubers are disagreeing with your preferred creator, do your own bloody analysis, find a flaw, and post that, instead of just going, oh, you're wrong, see this. Or worse, personal attacks. If you are the creator in question, for the love of God, just address the argument in detail. Sorry, Pig in particular, but whilst I accept that you have a style which is very popular and entertaining, on more academic disagreements, I think you need to dial it back a bit and become a little bit more academic. You are, whether you like it or not, an influencer to a large audience, and I think that establishing the narrative does require a little bit more professional engagement from time to time. Personally, If I have a disagreement with somebody like Cone, Armoured Archives or MHV, I tend to make a diplomatic comment directly on their video, not make a 50-minute defense video. Now, I've said that. A few observations. This whole speculation business, of course, isn't a new concept in the tank commentator world. There was much speculation over the years as to where the US Army got the idea to use torsion bar suspension in the M18 and M24. Did they nick it from Porsche's patent? Someone saw a Citroën traction avant? Maybe from the Landswerk L60 or a captured Panzer III? Perhaps something developed by Barnes and Preston, such as they patented. It's an interesting academic exercise because the US's historical documentation is actually silent on the matter. D.P. Dyer did an article in Armour magazine about 20 years ago going over everything that is known in the archives and concluded that, well, we don't know for sure, but we can speculate. He speculated nicked from the Germans, by the way. I don't think he set the world on fire from Porsche Barnes advocates all writing in. To my knowledge, nobody has attempted to even settle the matter since, yet the world is still turning. However, since I do want to add at least something constructive to the debate, I'll mention a tank engine of Theseus. Under the hood of this tank is a Continental 1790. The first of the Continental 1790s was put into a tank in 1947. Is the AVDS 1799AR of 1200 horsepower the same engine as the AV 1795A of 908? Is there a single exchangeable part? I actually don't know. Frankly, I'd go as far as to say that that engine is a component of the Tank of Theseus, the US's patent line. So you start with M26, swap the engine to get M46, swap the turret to get M47, modify the hull and turret shape a bit, but generally speaking keep the gun, FCS, suspension and powertrain. That more or less gets you the M48. Then you dieselify it in the M48A3. Then you swap the 90 to a 105mm, straighten out the nose, that gives you the M60. Then you change the turret to the M60A1, and then you do the insides. Thus, the M60A3 TTS is the same tank as M26. Or, it's at least based on the M26, with M103 as the close cousin branching off at M48. Or, it's so different, with not a single shared part other than the headlight switch, as to be an entirely different tank. It seems to me that it's all a matter of personal interpretation, and frankly pretty academic. And that's with a direct line of trace, let alone the gaps we have going from T-14's engine to anything from the 1940s, or worse, presentation style, which can vary from my own pretty dry direct delivery to deliberately exaggerated for effect. Also, I would not take any notice of the T-14 breaking down on parade. These things happen not least to brand new vehicles. I saw an M1A1 rolling around on display at Tankfest Northwest a few years ago. It came to a screeching halt, literally, when the track tension arm gave way. There's a certain irony there. This caused the track to walk off and grab the number 7 skirt. Am I to conclude from this public immobilization and humiliation of the crew that the M1 is a disaster of a tank? I suspect no. I mean, okay, T-14 may be a disaster of a tank, but that breakdown isn't exactly conclusive evidence of it. The bottom line from this is I think it's all a bit silly. There are a bunch of us now on YouTube either doing tank research or at least providing food for thought for the viewers' further research. Watch us or don't, agree with us or don't. Sometimes we get things wrong. If it's factual, let us know. We'll probably issue a correction or retraction. Correction? I'm pretty sure this applies to both Pig and Cone. I'm not familiar enough with Red Effect to make an opinion. But the inter-channel warfare all seems a bit daft. Hours of watch time have gone to waste. So, that's my opinion, answering the questions posed to me as far as I'm willing. Chieftain out.